Hey, Joker Prime, Squints here.
What's up?
Back with another top 5 video. You know, you guys are enjoying them, and we're enjoying doing them. So
Absolutely.
We're gonna try to keep coming up with ideas and bringing them to you. This is another one that was kind of requested. We had it in the back burner, but you asked for it, so we decided to go ahead and get it out next. And that is our top 5 generic keywords for Heroclix.
That's right, because we've done top 5 Marvel keywords and
Yep.
we have done top 5 DC.
Yes.
So
Yep.
here we go with the generic.
Yeah, our top 5 generic keywords. Squints, what is your number 5?
All right, so number 5, I went ahead and I went with Deity.
Oh,
So the way in which I rank these is kind of similar with the Marvel and DC. I try not to lean too heavily on like, hey, this is the strongest.
right.
It's not just always about being the strongest. It does play a factor in my decision, but I try to also think about, okay, how much do I like playing this?
For sure.
What characters are involved in these keywords? Do I like playing those characters? And so for Deity, the strength did play a factor, but the reason why I did make my list is because it, obviously that being generic, it's both DC and Marvel,
Yes.
obviously. However, I do like the crossover. Like, so the DC I feel like has more Deity that I like, but the Deity that I like from Marvel are things like Odin.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, maybe I'm pretty sure he
Yes.
has Deity. But I like
believe he is.
Yeah, then I like the Wonder Woman stuff.
Yes.
So there's some pretty strong pieces. Again, that does play a factor, but I think it's pretty fun getting to play some of those pieces that don't really fit well on other keywords
Yeah.
because either they're too expensive to play or they're like they don't really fit what you're wanting.
Right.
And despite the fact that I have never been able to pull them off very well, like places like Odin and Zeus,
Yes.
the Marvel
The Zeus that you hate.
that I
you
love but I hate.
You've tried a few times and
And it's
hate
not
him, but
going.
love him.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a fun keyword. It's a bit limited, but I mean, I like that you can go both ways, which all generic keywords can. But I like the characters that both DC and Marvel offer for Deity,
Right.
and it's a pretty strong keyword.
All right. So my number 5, first one out the gate is Deity.
Oh my gosh, we tied! Wow, we're not tied. It's not a tie.
Yeah, same spot. Same exact spot on the list, first one.
Nice.
We talked about this, and there'll probably be more crossover, obviously, than there was with DC and Marvel, because there's so many more there. Again, this isn't just about power for us, but that plays a factor into how much you enjoy the team as well. But it's a big part of teams or pieces that we enjoy playing. So, he said a lot of it. First of all, I love the Ares and Zeus.
Right
From Wonder Woman set, but also I like the old Hermes. I think he was from Flash maybe, and I even like the old Apollo more than I like the Wonder Woman Apollo.
It's a cool lure. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean that's Greek gods
and
and whatnot.
Yeah, so for me, there's some other deities I like too, but for me it's a big part of that. I like that team, and they don't really have any keywords other than deity.
Exactly.
So to play them as a theme team, which is what we usually play, that's what I get to play them under.
Yes.
And then I really like the Ares you have from like Superior Foes of Spider-Man.
Oh, dude, that guy's awesome.
He's cool. And there's the Zeus that came with Wonder Woman 80. So
He's really good.
and there are other deities that we're not mentioning that aren't necessarily Greek gods, but they have deities from their comics and things that are fun too, that are strong.
Those are definitely my favorite, though. The Greek god
Yeah.
deities are my favorite, and I
That's
think
kind of-
I think that's probably why it made it on my list.
It's a big
because
part
I
of it for both
enjoy
of us.
that lure is the Greek gods. So,
Right. So I'll go for my number 4.
All right.
My number 4 for generic Heroclix keywords is mystical.
Okay, good.
What? You don't like when we have the same
It's
one?
kind of crazy. 'cause
Spoiler alert, now they know yours isn't mystical. Mystical, this one is so far down on my list. Squints usually plays this more than me, specifically with he has teams that are just, the whole team has Mystics team ability. But I don't do that as much. But there are a lot of mystical characters I like. I'm pretty sure the Dr. Fates that I love, that you can play a million of them, are mystical.
JLU.
Yeah,
Right?
yep. You pay 65 for the first one, then 10 for every additional one, and they all have enhancement and TK and mystics, and then there's pretty much all the Doctor Stranges, and there's a lot of other good ones I'm not naming, but for us, mystical, those are two of the big that stick out in my mind. There's a lot of other fun ones. I think I'm gonna start thinking and being wrong, so I'm not gonna go in too many right now. But mystical, I definitely like it. It's strong. I think it's one of the stronger ones, and it's fun. But again, that's more of a squints one. But I think it still needed to be on my list, so it was at number 4.
And it's funny because you started saying mystical, and I was like, dude, are you serious? And I like the M sound came out, and so my 4 starts with an M. But before I get to that,
well, I think I know what it is.
I skipped over mystical. Which is silly because mystical is one of my favorites, especially Doctor Strange's.
You didn't even get mystical on your list?
No, nowhere on my list.
Oh,
so spoiler alert! But at the same time, like I don't know how I missed that because
I don't know how you missed that either.
It's an amazing.
I was like, I thought it would be your number 1.
Because I mean, mostly for Doctor Strange and the characters surrounding Doctor Strange, like Baron Mordo and I always call him Baron Mordo, and a few the Ancient One. Some of those pieces that you're not going to get on other teams unless you play mystical keyword,
right?
Or if you just throw a random team together, which you can do.
Yeah.
So it didn't make it, but my number 4 is Monster.
Wow.
Big reason why I threw Monster on there is it includes characters that would normally go on other teams, but if you want to play them together, you have to use the monster keyword. So Venoms, there are a few Hulks that have it, not a lot, but
there's a lot. I mean, honestly, that's obviously a very strong one. That one's been huge in the meta for at least as long as I've been really paying attention to the meta, which obviously isn't a lot, but
and so I do. And then one big thing, so. There is the Monsters of, or Legion of Monsters, which is not a generic keyword.
Right.
But those type of characters.
They're probably all monsters still.
Exactly. And so, like...
some vampires.
Morbius, I normally play on, like, Midnight Suns or Legion of Monsters, but if I want to play him with other characters that don't have that keyword or those 2 keywords, I have to play him on monsters. And I really like... So I like vampires, like Morbius, like...
Werewolf by Night?
Werewolf by Night. I was thinking of the other vampire.
Dracula?
Thank you. Goodness, from Fear itself.
The Dracula?
Yeah, he's insane.
Himself?
So like Dracula, Morbius, Werewolf by Night, Carnage, Venom. Again, if you want to play all those pieces together, you can't play them on their named keyword. You have to play them on the generic keyword. So that's why it made my list.
Right. So that was 4.
That was number 4 for me, and so I
did mine. So
so I'll do my number 3. Number 3, I put Brute. The biggest reason why I put Brute is not a strong keyword at all, in my opinion, but because of Hulk. Is basically every Hulk has Brute, and so many other characters that are like Hulk have Brute, and so it's not strong. Like there's almost no utility. Like there's no,
it's all brutes.
There's almost never any prob or outwit or anything like that. But that's exactly, it's in the name.
You can play an army of Hulks and then add a Maestro and a who was that other there was somebody else in like the Battle World set that looked like a Hulk, but he had a different name.
Oh gosh, I can't remember the name, but yes, there are characters.
Just those guys, the Hulks that aren't
exactly. It's just the characters that like hit really hard and they do a lot of.
I'm guessing
damage.
the Things probably have Brute. I don't know them as well.
They usually have, sometimes, sometimes. And so again, the problem with the Brute keyword for me is that if you play against a team that has a ton of outwit, has probs, has perplexes and stuff like this, it's hard to compete with.
Yeah.
But it's fun just being able to run in, smash somebody, and take them off the board.
The problem is they are tanks, and in Heroclix, tanks aren't always the best if they're not protected.
Right, exactly.
If their defenses aren't protected.
Somehow. So that is what's a bummer. Yeah. But I mean, it did make number 3 on my list, but it's because it includes characters they're just fun to, if you are able to build around them. So if you get a Hulk on a team that you can protect him, he's amazing. But
You
obviously,
like Hulk?
A little bit, yeah. And so if you get these certain characters that have the brew keyword, normally they have 11, 12 attacks.
Yeah.
They're dealing
Probably
4
like
damage,
4
or 5 damage. And so that's why I like it, is because I like doing a lot of damage, and I like increasing my odds of hitting, which I'm sure a lot of Heroclix players want to do that, obviously. But if you play him strictly on a brew keyword, then you are giving up a lot of utility. But we're doing generics, and so they made my list.
This is really funny because I feel like mine's maybe complete opposite. I feel like mine is full of utility with no like heavy protection. And so my number 3 is Scientist.
Nice.
So it's almost like the complete opposite of yours in a way.
It really is. No, I mean,
yeah.
Jeez, wow.
That's funny. Because I really like it. I've kind of a few times in some of our casual games delved into making some of these random generic keywords, and that's one that I really liked. Just because I'm weird about liking some of those old generic characters, a bunch of Star Lab scientists and just all the different scientists, and there's some Lex Luthors and things like that are on there too. I can't remember who my other kind of big name on there was, but Scientist is one that's fun because it's a lot of different. They've got some of their own crazy things, and then there's also perplexes and probs and outwits. I think it was where they were like either Project Cadmus scientist or Star Lab scientist or something like that. And the more of them you had, they all shared this trait. So you got to roll through, and it determined out of these list of abilities what you got to use, but it affected all of them. So if you didn't like what you got with the first one, you could re-roll it with the second one, and they all had your result. And so that was fun and cool.
I want to say that was Star Labs.
I know it was from the jail you said. I don't remember their names.
Okay. So that is awesome.
That's funny.
Much more utility.
It's funny, and that's a team that Squints got really mad at and hated because he's like, why are these regular people so strong? That's one of his biggest complaints.
That is
when they're outwitting and murdering his Hulk, but
which I mean, honestly, yeah.
They're just turning him back into Bruce Banner with their magical scientist powers.
It is super annoying, but it does open up the creativity of the game.
No, it's fun,
and it does show your.
And it's fun to have success with like some scientists and stuff. You know?
It shows your tactical prowess and your creativity, and that is fun. But like for me, I like doing that to an extent, but then like I just get drained, and I'm like, I just want to smash.
He likes Hulk so much because that's his spirit animal.
Yeah.
I just want to smash these puny humans. Why?
Yeah, why you have to outwit them and then block off your other people and then prob me out of my crit hits, and it gets so annoying. So that's awesome. I love that. Okay, so that was your 3.
Yes.
Do you want to do your 2? And we're doing honorable mentions, right?
Honorable mentions before number 1.
Okay.
After number 2.
All right, so do you want to do your number 2?
My number 2 is Monster.
Okay, all right. So they didn't put it in the same spot.
No, yours was pretty low on the list. See, we talked about it some, but I'll talk about it better. No.
I would hope so. It's your number 2.
As we said, obviously a big meta one, but it's not even really the meta pieces that draw me in. You know, when I think about it, and I'm forgetting, Black Adam had either mystical or monster. I think he had mystical, and then I think Raven had monster.
Oh, you threw together that monster team with.
But I think I was mistaken, and one of them didn't have the same. But Raven has monster. I like her from Rebirth.
Yes.
And there's some other Ravens. And then Parasite.
No, dirty.
You already mentioned all the Venoms.
That's one of your favorite Marvel characters.
Yes, Venom is one of my favorites. So them doing all these Venomized things I like, and they're all monsters. I should have looked and reminded myself of more of these pieces, but I think there's like some Bizarros. You mentioned the vampires. Well, I said Parasite. I think a lot of the Black Lanterns have monster.
Yes.
So I love them, and there's just a lot encompassed, and kind of more, obviously monsters, more villainous type things. So that's why it's one that I like so much. I get this mix mash of just nasty, monstrous villains together, and it's fun. I'm trying to think back because I'm pretty sure I made a monster team for one of our tournaments, and I'm trying to remember who I had on there. I think I had the Colossal Carnage on there.
Yes.
And then like iVampire, basically like the DC version of Morbius. He's like the
What was his name?
iVampire.
Vampire. Okay.
So like there's Justice League Dark and Midnight Suns are very synonymous with each other, I think. So he's on that. And just a lot of fun pieces. So that's my number 2. And it was really a front runner to be my number 1. It was up there. So
nice.
It was a close push. What is your number 2?
But number 2, so before I get to that, I forgot to mention with Brute, they give Wolverines Brute a lot, but they also give some Wolverines Monster.
Yeah.
And so I love Wolverines, and I can't believe I forgot to mention him.
Wow.
Wolverine's one of my favorites.
You're really screwing this one up.
I know, right? But my number 2 was Cosmic. And part of that was because it is a super strong keyword.
Wow.
So for my number 2 spot, I went ahead, and one of my bigger decisions for putting it at number 2 is because it is super strong. But you get to play some fun pieces as well. That it opens up the characters that are like War of Light. Obviously, like it opens up the entire universe. It's cosmic.
Yes.
It's in the name. But I do like that those storylines and those characters, because some of them are too powerful to play on other teams, or they don't have named keywords.
Or you have to play a really big game to even play them because they cost so much.
Yeah, exactly. And so I like the cosmic keyword because of that. Plus, a lot of cosmic people, a lot of characters that have the cosmic keyword are protected outwit, and I hate outwit.
Yeah, a lot of them have cosmic power team ability.
Exactly. And if there's one thing in this game that I hate, it is outwit.
It's most of the game, but outwit in particular.
I just hate this game. I don't know why I play it. I don't like.
He doesn't even enjoy beating me. I don't know why he keeps doing it.
Exactly, it's weird. And so I really like the fact that there are characters out there that they cannot be outwitted.
For sure.
And usually it's because they're super powerful beings, which makes sense. I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons why it was my number 2 is because I usually can guarantee myself to be protected outwit, and they're fairly powerful characters and pieces.
Man, I just, like, with you saying you completely forgot Mystical.
I know.
I have no idea what your number 1's going to be, but we're going to find out in a minute.
Cosmic probably should have been an honorable mention now that I'm thinking about Mystical.
Cosmic? Oh.
Just now that I'm thinking about Mystical.
Think Mystical should have just kicked it all the way out from number 2 to...
I mean, it would have rearranged
not
my
on the
lists, but Mystical is one of the ones that I do like because of Doctor Strange mostly. Mostly because Doctor Strange and the characters that surround Doctor Strange. Yeah. So...
All right, well, let's go to some honorable mentions.
Absolutely. You did your number 2. You did Monsters. Okay.
Yeah.
So Scientist was one of my honorable mentions.
Ooh.
The reason why I like Scientist is because it includes a lot of the like really Brainiac type of, not the character Brainiac, but the smart characters.
He's probably got it.
He probably does. Brainiac would probably have some. I think he does. But
I didn't have him when I made that team.
And I'm thinking of, so in Marvel there's the Illuminati keyword, and so Illuminati is basically all of the smartest people in Marvel, but I don't always want to play Illuminati. I like to play some of the lesser known scientists, the cheaper scientists, because like the Illuminati, you're
Dr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic?
Yeah,
he's a scientist.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're playing Illuminati and you're playing a lot of the pieces, they're expensive pieces, and so it's hard to build a team. But if you're playing scientists, you can throw in some filler pieces to help you. So but I do like the fact that it's like
you like your Weapon X scientists.
Exactly. Oh, dude, the Weapon X scientists are awesome because they can TK the Wolverines and Sabretooths around, because sometimes it's difficult for the Sabretooths and the Wolverines to get close enough to use their blades, claws, fangs. And speaking of the scientists, the Weapon X scientists, they have that one dude that has a ridiculous outwit. That's awesome. I can't remember the professor, not the professor.
Oh yeah, I think it's just the professor.
Yeah, and so, anyways, scientist keyword I like because it does give you a lot of utility.
Yeah.
And I get to play some of those Brainiac pieces. Not the character Brainiac. the ones that are like the smartest, like Iron Man's and Mr. Fantastic.
One thing I think I forgot on mine, I think some of the Flashes have scientists.
Which is interesting. I forgot about that. I think you're right.
I think so.
But that's an honorable mention. I also had Future as an honorable mention. They're mostly because of Maestro and Hulk. So
we'll end with like, I think it was JLU. There was some of those like Batman Beyond and Amanda Waller, the ridiculous Superman that had like 3 stock clicks in a row and got stronger and could heal.
Exactly. Some of those future pieces are fun and because they come from kind of interesting storylines. Some of them are not my favorite storylines, but some of them are actually really cool storylines.
Yes.
Like there was the
it's almost like the
X-Men of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
That's a futuristic storyline. That was kind of cool.
It's like the What If and the Elseworld type stuff.
Yes, yeah. So I like that part of it, and then that's about it for my favorite.
That's all your honorable mentions?
Yeah, I mean there was a few that I wrote down,
For
but
sure.
Those are probably the best.
So for me,
I did mention martial. I'm sorry, martial artists.
Okay.
Martial artists, mostly because of Shang-Chi, but that's about it.
Yeah, and a lot of your Marvel Knights that you kind of like have martial arts, like Daredevil and stuff.
Absolutely.
So, my first honorable mention is Harold.
Nice.
Yes, I like Harold. Obviously, I don't know. You can kind of see him up there.
Yeah, there he is.
Galactus. I think the new Thor. I don't remember. Does the Chase Thor have Harold too? I think he does.
The newest Chase Thor.
No, the Empire. The Avengers Empire one does.
Okay, but the one from
does the Cap and the Avengers one have it? That might have been before they were really giving it very much.
I don't know if he does.
Obviously, some of the Silver Surfers.
Yes.
But even some of the, like, Wonder Woman 80 Green Lanterns and stuff, some of them have it.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of obviously pretty powerful. I mean, like Galactus, it's really cool. And that is pretty powerful and takes up a lot of points,
right?
But then some of those others, so it's just kind of cool. I don't know if it's truly strong enough to really withstand much, but it's kind of fun to think about and thematically try to build a Herald team and make random people heralds and stuff.
Absolutely.
The funny thing is, we keep doing this. Your second mention was Future.
Yeah.
Mine was Past. And I don't remember a lot off the top of my head, but my biggest ones when it comes to Past are from Elseworlds, and it's like the Western. There's the Genie Green Lantern, Al Jordan or whatever, and then there's Colonel Wayne. So like Batman as a sheriff, and there's Diana Prince, or maybe she's just Wonder Woman or whatever. That's Cowboy. There's the Kid Flash.
There's the Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter.
But he's called by his real name.
John Jones.
John Jones, yeah.
Justice Riders is what they are, I think. And so that's like my favorite with Past, but there's a lot of really good ones in there. And again, some cool storylines. And then not even mentioning all the Marvel ones with Past. But it's also just funny that yours was Future.
I know, that's jeez, it's like whenever I said Brute and then you said Scientist very next.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, that and just obviously Future, I already talked about when you said I like it, but I didn't quite make it for me. And then my final honorable mention was Police.
Nice, yeah.
I really like making
a lot of your.
I really like making fun generic teams like this too. So having like a Flash and maybe one other strong main character that has Police, and then having like some Commissioner Gordons or Sergeant Gordon and some
I was gonna say a lot
some
of
actual generic police, some Gotham PDs, and there's just a bunch like that.
It's a really good team ability. So
and they do some cool stuff together. I mean, it's a swarm team type thing essentially, and some of them have cool like in cap or helping their own teammate type stuff. So that was my last honorable mention. Now we're going to be moving on to number ones.
right. So do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I can go first
Okay.
because I'm very suspenseful to find out what yours is.
All right.
So we'll wait, and mine has already been mentioned by you.
Oh,
and
yeah?
that is Cosmic.
Oh, why'd you pick it?
Well, first of all, it is powerful.
Yes.
Second of all, the number one reason that it is my number one.
Thanos.
No. Mr. Oz.
Oh, that jerk.
Love Mr. Oz so much. There's Mr. Oz. There's Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
You said Silver Surfer
Silver
earlier,
Surfer.
and I didn't think of it. And I was like, as soon as you said Silver Surfer, I was like, oh yeah, Cosmic, Silver Surfer. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure Thanos has it. A lot of the Guardians of the Galaxy, probably a lot of the Krees.
yes, that's what's cool is the Kree and the Guardians.
Yeah, I mean it is huge. It is awesome. It encompasses most of my favorite
War of Light.
stuff. Yeah, I mean it encompasses most of my favorite stuff.
Right.
So, and it's super powerful.
It is.
Like
Oh, dude.
you said, a lot of them are power cosmic, but not all of them. I mean, depends on the
Quintessence.
branch. Well, yeah, good old quintessence.
Yeah.
But I mean, like even some of the elders of the universe. I love those guys, and some.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So
exactly.
and
So
not
it's just-
even the new set stuff. The older ones like
Mhm.
Beyonder and In Betweener and like Avengers Infinity stuff. So I just love that.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Good storylines and comics and just strong pieces and
Yeah.
clicks. So
Yeah.
nice. Okay. And that was my number 2, so that was pretty close.
Right, yes,
that was
it was.
pretty close.
We're dying to know what is your
All
number
right.
one.
My number 1, I definitely think will surprise you, is Assassin.
That does surprise me.
Because so in terms of generics, again, it's not always about power. Cosmic for me, one of the bigger reasons why is because it was powerful. It does have some fun pieces and whatnot, but anyways, Assassin, that was one of my favorite because I think we did a keyword.
No, one time
We did just Assassin keyword.
One time we did. I think it was DC Assassin versus Marvel
Yes,
Assassin.
okay.
That was a lot of fun. Actually,
That was one of my favorites.
we should definitely do that with
We
these. Some of
should.
these.
And so it was one of my favorite games we played because
Yeah.
it does have a ton of like really awesome pieces, and
They go together, but they never have actually been together.
yeah, exactly. And so like and the cool thing about the game of Clicks is they're not pigeonholed to one thing per se. You can find assassins that are ranged characters. You
Yeah.
can find assassins that are close combat experts. You can
Ooh.
find utilities.
Is that new War of the Realms Gamora have assassin? Because
Gamora normally does.
I mean,
get
she
it.
is an assassin, so
She
God,
normally
that's
gets it.
gross.
Yeah, and so and then you also get some
I don't know
utility.
if I want to replay that.
You do get utility, so you get some stealth a
Yeah.
lot of times with assassins, which could be
Yes,
very handy.
yes.
You get outwits a lot of time, not a lot of prob, but
And its utility in the way of not necessarily those powers, but like I love the Deadshot from the old WizKids one.
Oh, yeah.
He's an assassin, and also Deathstroke.
Deathstroke, I love.
The Speed Force Sword,
Taskmaster.
Deathstroke,
Yes, Deathstroke. He,
Taskmaster. You had, I think that nasty Kingpin had assassin.
he does, and he's a great utility player that makes the rest of his assassins way better.
Yeah.
That's why he had it, is because he makes all of his assassins, like, he gives them a bunch of stuff. Like, if they have precision strike, they can also get like range combat expert and aiming through characters and all this other stuff.
Also, a random character that I kind of stumbled upon loving that Squints hates makes my Assassin's team way better, and that is Black Mask. Because I can give him a power
Okay.
action
I was
to
gonna say
make
Deathstroke.
all of my adjacent assassins just move.
That's right. Yes. Okay. I thought you were gonna say Deathstroke. I
So
was
he can move my entire team, and it's not a carry, so they don't have to be bunched up after. So he can send out all my assassins as long as he's adjacent.
right.
And so that's really cool and
Movement
fun, and
is
that's
massive.
that's a huge cool assassin utility thing.
So I love
is-
that keyword because it has so much to offer,
It's
and
fun.
not only is it fun pieces, like characters that everyone knows. Usually, a lot of times they are villains, and if they're not villains, they're like anti-heroes or they're maybe sidekicks.
And I
Like
feel
Black
like-
Widows are like kind of like
Yeah.
sidekicks a lot of times, and you get like Winter Soldiers. Winter Soldiers is one of my
Yeah.
favorite, and there's some nasty Winter Soldiers.
Especially with the new rules we were looking at the other day.
And so you can build a pretty strong assassin team. Now, it's not going to be necessarily be meta, but you can build a
well, and
competitive.
because we're building like Golden Age, because it's fun. There's fun in building a Golden Age assassin, like we just talked about. A lot of power, and it's a lot of characters that don't get enough love because
usually they don't.
They don't have big time enough keywords usually, or something. They get. It's like you got them, you like them, they're fun, but they don't really fit teams much, so you don't use them as much.
Yeah, so that is
a good one. I
figured that'd be kind of surprising, and that was another reason why I wanted it to be my number one.
Yeah, I did not see that coming, but also you screwed up and forgot mystical was a keyword.
Gosh, that's ridiculous of me.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
No, those were good. Those were good.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna have to play some of those like assassin versus assassin and cosmic and monster clash games.
Absolutely, we can definitely do that, and then we'll get to post it
and
they can watch
for you.
But keep on commenting in the section below to let us know what other maybe top fives or what other content you want to see.
We've got some in the works, some that we have planned, but like this, if there's something that you guys want to request, then we'll try to throw that out first. We'll just keep working on this stuff. Appreciate it.
Yeah, like, subscribe. Tabletop Syndicate.
See ya.